Where are we, lads?
We're at Llandegla.
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 Yeah.
I think it's Clan.
No, we were going to say Llandegla.
Llandegla.
Yeah, we'll just say Degla.
Degla. We're at Degla.
Degla's good. And we've literally forgot Ben completely today because last time he's back, he did it playing table tennis. This time he's done it cutting his hedges. His fan's really comfy. And welcome to the next video in the series, guys, of what to expect. And today we're hitting the brilliant One Planet Adventure Trail Centre. Now I still can't believe One Planet Adventure is only £5 when you can take into consideration the other trail centres around the Midlands. It is so cheap for what you get.
How are we doing? You alright, buddy? Good to see you. Did you bring your bungee cord for me? I'll call shotgun, by the way.
I didn't know.
Oh.
So we're doing a small group ride today and we're joined by the two Lees. One of which is Lee Hadley, who has his own YouTube channel. So Lee has an e-bike, so he's definitely got an advantage compared to the rest of us today. And I was just teasing him about having a bungee cord and dragging me up these hills. But to be honest, we start off with a 3-mile climb, which isn't very steep at all. It's just a bit of a grind. Yeah, watch out for trail dogs. Now we're here today to ride these beautiful trails, but not only that, we're going to test out the new Red Trail. At the top of the climb, you can have a rest, but if you don't wish to, there's nothing too strenuous right after this. You're treated in single track, flow, a few kicky lips that you can take off if you want to, but you can take your time around here and just enjoy the scenery. Now, One Planet Adventure is set in the Llandegla Forest, or Llandegla Forest if you're Welsh. Okay, the Welsh are going to crucify me, but it's about 20 minutes away from Wrexham. Just like the other trail centres, there are different graded trails here. Straight on for red, right for blue here. Now this next section was classed as black, and I think Llandegla have regraded the trails a little bit. It's now a red, as you can see, but there's nothing too bad on this trail. The only features on here are a couple of small drops that can actually be rolled. Just be aware, it is a little bit faster than the previous sections, and in the dry, which it certainly isn't today, it can be a bit loose on the corners. Coming up to the second drop now. Easy.
Couple of kicky jumps here, guys.
Again, Lee's on his e-bike, but as you can see it's slightly uphill, so he's definitely going to be pulling away from the rest of us on this section. This section has a few ups and downs, but mainly it's kind of flat with a lot of pedalling. You've got this funky little boardwalk with a little drop here, a nice little berm, and a couple of good downhill sections to follow. As everybody already knows, it always rains in Wales, so make sure you're prepared to get a little bit wet. It certainly doesn't take away the fun though. So here we are, the junction to the new Red Trail. It took us about 40 minutes to get here. Now just by this tree line is where the black trails start. So the Red Trail bypasses all of the black trails. Or the best bits anyway. I think what we'll do, we'll show you the red trails and then I'll put some previous footage on the screen of the black trails and I'll let you make your mind up yourselves. So we start off with a few ups and downs and a bit of single track which goes through a little bit of wood that hasn't been deforested. There's nothing here that needs an amazing level of skill at all. Now after a tiny bit of fire road, you turn left onto the next section, which again is single track. You've got a couple of kicky jumps, but again there's nothing here that's really going to test you. But there is an incredibly fast section, which did bring a smile to my face. Unfortunately, this doesn't last too long. They've put a couple of little interesting features that you can tackle. Not too taxing or rollable. Although not exactly the most thrilling of trail, you do have to appreciate the work they've actually put into this.
You've got to appreciate the work that's put into this.
I think I just said that. This for me is definitely in the territory of cross country. And I don't think it should be rated a red trail at all. I think it's more of a blue. But its one redeeming feature is it does actually wake up the last eighth of the trail, and you're treated with some amazing berms and flow towards the end of the section.
It's nice, isn't it?
And just like that, it's over. And you come to realise that you've just bypassed the black sections, which are arguably the best sections in the whole of the One Planet adventure. So here we go. The first black section you come across is Big Jim's. Now, Big Jim's has a few rock rollers, which are not too bad. And to be honest, for a black section, well, you couldn't really call it a black section. It's more like a red. If you do tend to shy away from a trail because it does state it's a black, then at One Planet Adventure, I would reconsider that. One Planet Adventure, the blacks are definitely not blacks. The only difference is between the red and the black, the ground is probably a little bit more janky and it's a little quicker. So after a small fire road climb, you're going to head towards the next black section, which is Dave the Fox. And off we go, Dave the Fox. Again, it's a black section, but I think that's purely down to the consequences because you are going a little bit faster. There are a few tables in here, as well as a double. But if you're slow enough, you can actually roll over everything. But man, is this trail fantastic. They've not long redone this trail, and it flows a lot better. The berms are a lot higher. Like I say, you've got a couple of tabletops in there. You've got a double in there, which just throws a little extra spice. But you can roll over everything. Although the red trail is good, I can't understand why anyone would choose the red trail over the black trails that already exist. Okay, back to the red again. So unlike where the red trail came out, the black trail does come out a little bit further down the hill, so there is a little bit of a sharp punchy climb to tackle. But after that, we are now heading up the hill towards one of my favourite trails at Llandegla, which is BLine.
There we go then, BLine.
Now BLine is actually Llandegla's jump line, but again, don't be scared because everything on BLine can actually be rolled. So we're starting off with this incredible boardwalk. Now you'd think there won't be much grip, but they do put chicken mesh over the top, which does in fact give your tyres plenty of purchase. Especially on a day like today where it's wet, I was grateful for the chicken mesh. Now this is where it all went wrong for me. I decided to drop off this so heavy, I actually pinch flatted my rear tyre, which gave me a slow puncher for the rest of the day, which was incredibly frustrating, especially on these jumps. Listen. You can hear how soft my rear tyre is, so as I'm preloading to get the jumps, the tyre's just squashing in on itself. But again, you can see all these jumps are actually rollable. It is so much fun. By far the best section of the whole of Llandegla for me is actually the second part of BLine. This is where the tabletops aren't that big and you're able to clear them. But unfortunately, because of that slow puncher, I wasn't clearing them. I think the trail builders in areas on BLine have tried a little bit too hard to make these jumps big. We're coming up just before a huge berm at the moment. We're coming up to a massive lip. It must stand 8 to 10 foot high. But thinking about it, it may have actually been placed here to slow you down for this huge berm.
There we go, max speed, mate. You're clear.
Now's the time to get as much power down as you can. And you're going to need that to clear these next few jumps. Again, everything is completely rollable. this section is so fun. It ends up with a little rock garden which crosses a fire road. Sometimes I have come across a few riders which have stopped right in the middle of where you need to be. We were lucky this time. Yeah, riders, just be mindful on that bit. Try not to block the trails.
I think we need
So
to
this
go
next little bit has suffered from a little bit of
I think
deforestation.
we've lost it, haven't we?
Before, when you were riding this, all you could see was the trees,
Oh, shit,
obviously,
where am I
you
going?
could see all the stumps here, but you never
Look at
realised
that.
you're actually on a sheer cliff. So, if you're afraid of heights, keep your eyes on the trail. We're now on what you might call the home straight. It's the last quarter of the trail. It's all red, and you're treated to this fantastic boardwalk, but there is a nasty little drop towards the end. So if you're not confident with drops, just stop your bike and wheel it down here. This bit is very, very fast.
Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah, I got mud in my eye. Stupid not wearing glasses.
I just don't know what I was thinking. Not wearing glasses, no mud guard, in the rain, spells disaster. But like I say, now I'm playing catch up, and it is very fast, very thrilling. Just be careful not to go off the end, like I say, cliff face. But the views are spectacular.
Spectacular views.
Other than the likes of Cody Brennan, I think Llandegla and One Planet Adventure offers you some of the best single track that any trail centre in this country actually has to offer. Towards the end there is a little bit of a challenge climb, which is probably going to take you a couple of attempts to clear.
Oh!
The e-bikes are amazing for climbing, we all know that, it's undisputed, but on this instance it was very wet, very rooty, and the torque in the e-bike didn't help Lee whatsoever in this situation. So here I go. I've done this a few times, but like I say, incredibly wet. There's a line up the right hand side here, but as you can see there's a few roots here, and I slipped my rear wheel on the root. Now on this particular day, the last red section that heads you back towards the visitor centre was closed for maintenance. But never mind, we took the blue section which takes you up to the top car park. And from the top car park, you've got a free ride line and a pump track. Now I can't really say that I rated the pump track very much. But again, we're on the wrong bikes. I'm on quite a long travel trail bike here, so didn't really benefit with the pump track. But now we're going to have a look at the free ride trail, which is going to take us back down the hill towards the visitor centre. So it starts off with a few larger tables and rock gardens and a couple of sweepy berms. Nothing too bad so far, guys. Why did I follow Craig onto this little skinny?
Nah.
You definitely need some balance skills on this section, and I wouldn't recommend this in the wet, especially on the downhill. Slides back wheels a little bit and lose control. But again, I was wearing clips and I wasn't feeling 100% confident on this little bit at all.
Nah, sorry buddy.
No, I've had enough. Time to get off and let the more confident riders pass me, I think.
Not in the wet like this. Oh shit. Did you see that? I jumped off it. I better have a look at this first. Yeah? Ah, that's a piece of piss.
Okay, 100%, always look before you leap. That was an easy drop. And again, this is the end of the free ride trail and we're nearly back at the visitor centre.
Yeah.
A couple of big tables here. Again, everything is rollable, or there's even a roll round. but you do finish off with quite a big drop,
That's a drop.
which I wasn't expecting, by the way.
That was the video, what to expect when you get to One Planet Adventure. Llandegla is one of my favourite places. I know there are a few people that don't like it. It is well ridden, and after they do maintain the trails, they do get kind of wrecked pretty quick because of the amount of traffic that's on it. But at the same time, there's something there for everybody. So be it the green family trail, or in fact the blue, the red, or the blacks. There's nothing that can't be rolled on any of it. But on the other end of the spectrum, for the more advanced riders, there are things that you can do there. It's incredible. But I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. If you did, it would really help the channel if you liked and subscribed. It means the world, and it means we can carry on putting out as much content as possible. So we'll see you next week.